just share my
Okay, because I'm a little confused. Okay, so just bear in mind, it's 6:22 in the morning. Okay, so when you guys are watching this, I'm most likely gonna be asleep. So I know you guys are wondering, and I said a few videos back, and I've been gone for like 3 weeks. What's been going on? Why have you been so inconsistent? Where have you been? YouTube's been dry. Girl, I know. I've been watching too. So we're gonna start from the beginning. This is July 1st. We're gonna go back to May 1st because I started a video day in May. And around the 12th or 13th, it stopped because I had sprained my ankle after leaving the Kat Von D party. I had fell, and the story time that I told you guys, I guess if that's what you want to call it. And then after that, so my whole, well, not all of them, but most of my top teeth are veneers. I've had them for years, and I got them done in high school. And one is from when I fell as a kid and I knocked my tooth completely out. And that was when I was like 10. So I hadn't had my permanent teeth as of yet. But what was happening was it was going to grow back. So it grew back. I was looking like fabulous for a couple of years. Just speed this on up. And then it happened. We were, you know, I lived in a hood. We lived in the jungles. We was play outside. The ice cream truck would come. You guys know those ice creams where it's like, girl, the sprinklers is coming on. That's how you know it's early. So you know how the ice creams where it's like fudge, banana, and then fudge. I used to love those. I still do, but now it's just too much. I don't even like chocolate like that no more unless it's a man. But anyway, so I got one of those, and then for some reason back in the day when they built these apartments in the jungles, it used to be all this extra, like, you know, flower beds and all types of stuff. So it was this like long thing. And this is when, if you guys are young enough, well, if you guys are old enough rather, to know when we had the super soakers with the, remember, with the little backpacks, and then you would just pull it. So I had got one of those. Me and my friend Cece at the time, I got one of those, and one of my friends from around the way was chasing me, and the little thing was like here, and I tried to jump over it. Didn't make it. So my foot caught smack dab. Not only did I knock out my tooth, my ice cream was splat on the floor too. So I remember going to talk to my granny at the time. Not the granny that you guys know me talk about, but my other granny who got me into Barbie. And she was just kind of like, my lips were bleeding. She rinsed my mouth and sent me back on my way. So when my mom, who is actually a dental assistant, found out about it, she was pissed off. But they were like, you know, it's nothing that we can do until his teeth grow back. You know, it's just really nothing that you can do. Spacing is not going to be a problem because they are going to fall out anyway. After that, I got my, I believe that was at 10. I could have been smaller than that. I probably was, but I don't recall. But my mom said when I talked to her about it, she said, you've been dealing with this problem since you were 10. So we'll go from there. So dealing with that, then when I think that was probably, I'm just gonna say 7. I'm just gonna say 7. So when I was in the 5th grade, I had, I remember specifically, it was after school. It was this boy, I will never forget his name. His name was Hythoris. And you know, girl, yes, his name was Hythoris. So you guys know, like, when you go to after school programs or whatever, we used to go and then wait for either my mom or my cousin's mom to come get us, and then we would go home. We didn't live that far. This when we lived in West LA. So they opened the corridors after they mopped them. They opened the corridors and let the kids, I mean, no, they don't. They let the floors, after they mopped them, they let them dry. Well, me and this fool decided we wanted to just play whatever. And I remember he had a bowl cut. And at the time, I didn't know what a bowl cut was, but it was so clean. It was terrible. No fading. What's a fade, girl? Girl, what's stiff? Shake, bitch. So, you know, that happened. And we're outside, we're running, we run through the corridor, and for whatever reason I stopped. And when I stopped, he smacked me right in the back. I guess he wasn't paying attention, or he just didn't care, but he ran right into the back of me. It is poor, you know, it's laminate floor, tooth gone again. And now I look like fabulous, officially. Like I'm LAFO, killing it. So at that time, my mom was just kind of like, really? So I think for like a year and a half, I just had a tooth, like just cracked. So when I got into, before I went to junior high school. So I went to junior high school when I was like, what, 14? No, I was 11. I was 11. 14. Bitch, what you learning? Girl, PBS and do you no good. But anyway, so yeah, by the time I went to junior high school, I had a tooth in. That was not mine. It was a veneer. So that happens. I go through all of junior high school. I get to the 9th grade, and then I get all like temporary veneers. Like, this is before like lumineers was a thing. Like, they had some new stuff. They wanted me to try it out. It was cool. But all my other teeth were just like shaved down slightly, kind of buffed for some roughness, and then it was like, think like a contact lens. It was put on them. But this particular tooth was a tooth that fell out, so there was no tooth there. So they had to go in where they like drill your, they drill it. Girl, it was so painful. I still remember, because they like wrap, because they have to like put like a post in it. It's not an implant. That's not, I don't have that. It's like a post, and they have to like take the nerve out the tooth. Then they put like this stuff that looks like it looks like dental floss, and they wrap it around the tooth, and then they take a suture and press your gums in, so that when they actually put the new tooth on top of it and they put the cement in it, it'll catch and then hold. So I had that from high school up until, so I got it, I want to say I was like 17. So I'm 31 now. So I've had that for like 12 years. Okay. So with that being the situation, I noticed like a year ago, my tooth was loose, but it wasn't loose enough. I knew not to bite nothing hard on it, but it was starting to come loose. So I asked my mom about it. She was like, well, you had a tooth for a while, so you probably have to go back, because after time this happens. Like, it's like breast implants. Like, every 12 years you have to go and get things looked at to make sure nothing is slipped or moved or whatever. All the rest of my teeth are fine. They're fine. I could fight and take a punch. Don't want to, but I could. So this was after I had sprained my ankle. So I went getting ready to go to sleep. I could finally like put some pressure on my ankle. Go in the room, brushing my teeth. I have an electric toothbrush. I'm brushing, and I noticed something just feels weird, and I'm not really knowing what it is that feels weird. So I'm just kind of like, okay. So I'll, into the sink. Now, the little thing that's like the clogs your sink. Okay, for whatever reason, mine have been broke since I moved here, and I've never just told anybody. I just took it out. Not a good idea. So when I spit into the drain, I spit my tooth down the drain. Now, I turned the water off because I'm like I'm literally looking like a Beverly Hillbilly. It's bad. So I'm just like, and I had planned to do videos the next day. So I'm like, you legit don't have a tooth. And that tooth I had since high school. So, girl, the post came out, everything. I was just toothless. Like, nothing. And I'm just like, every thought goes through your mind. Like, what are you gonna do? What do you say? How do I even go anywhere? Like, how does that work? So I'm like, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I text my mom, like, Mom, my tooth fell down the drain. Girl, I am nobody's plumber. Trust and believe that, girl. I am not Mr. Plumber. So I took the little crank, got it off to see if maybe the tooth was in there. Girl, we was gonna put her and let her oxidize or whatever she needed to do, girl, to get clean and put back in my goddamn mouth until I went to a dentist, because I had work to do. Didn't know how I was gonna put it in there, girl. But girl, we hair glue, super glue, hot glue. Bitch had things to do. So I'm just kind of like, this just can't be my life. So of course my mom is asleep. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I go to sleep, get up the next morning. I call a dentist office that is now my permanent dentist, and I was supposed to go for a cleaning at another dentist office like 2 weeks prior to that, and I canceled it because I had other things to do. So stupid of me, because at that point they would have told me, you need to get this redone. Wouldn't be in this situation. So I go, and because this is considered a cosmetic situation, my insurance doesn't cover the loss of the tooth. It covers somewhat of the maintenance of the tooth, but the veneer itself, they don't cover. That's a personal thing, And again, I got it done so many years ago, and then my mom paid for it. I was still I wasn't an adult yet, so things were much cheaper during that time. Okay, just like that. So I go. I'm gonna show y'all what I wore, just because I'm a fashionable bitch, even when I'm toothless. Hold on. So when I went, because I was not about to be caught slipping. I always find people, I always see some of y'all when I am not in the most glamorous situation. So I went like this, okay? Now, for some of y'all, I know it's extra, but you wasn't about to catch me out here. So if I seen somebody, hey girl, how you doing? But that was it, okay? So I went looking like Louis Vuitton Lecter, and I get there, I talk to the nurse, and then the doctor comes in, and she's like, so what happened? And I'm looking at her like, you don't see this big tooth missing? So I tell her everything that happens, and they pretty much, she tells me that her husband specializes in veneers and all that, but because it's been so long, you know, things just give out. So you need to get it redone. But my husband, they have like a practice together. My husband isn't here, and he won't be here until Friday. So I literally didn't have no temporary tooth, no nothing. So I literally sat in the house from Tuesday all the way to Friday. When I would go get me something to eat, we would wear Louis Lecter. So I'm like, this, can it get any worse? Like, can it get any, and it did. So I'm just like, okay, so that's a whole week, no work, no uploads, no nothing, because I can't do anything. Okay, so then I go and finally go, he does everything, I get my temporary tooth, which I have in now because I'm getting all of these replaced. So that happens. After that, I have an asthma attack. I go to the hospital. Now, I've mentioned that on my channel here a couple of times, but as a kid, I had really chronic asthma where I was like hospital bound for weeks, sometimes months at a time, because it was so bad. So I guess because I have been stressed out and I have been doing so much, and then work was a lot, and then I was going through stuff in my personal life, my asthma was just like, bitch, listen here. What we're not gonna do is that. So you're gonna sit your ass down. That's what you're gonna do. So I'm just like, okay, so I have to deal with that. So I'm in the hospital for like 2 days. Get out, suffer another one. Get out. I'm like, okay. They kept me for like 4 days. Get out again. I'm like, what is life? Like, what is, and you guys, if any of you guys know who have bronchitis, or you have asthma of any, or you have shortness of breath, you know that is something that you just don't play with, and it's something that's very uncomfortable. And when I was a kid, it was like, they told me that I would eventually grow out of it, which I did. But I guess, well, not even I guess, the nurse pretty much told me, and the doctor said, you got a lot of stress going on right now, and it's not helping. What's going on? And I was like, I'm just feeling overwhelmed with a lot in my life right now. I'm feeling overwhelmed with work. I'm feeling overwhelmed with just what do I do next. I'm feeling overwhelmed with this doll line that I'm doing, which is really stressing me out. And it's like, it's a good stress, but it's clearly not a good stress. And there was a plethora of other things. And then I just noticed there was this depressed feeling coming over me, but I didn't want to come to terms with that's what it was. So I went to go see my therapist, and I've had this therapist for years, and I went to go see my therapist, and he pretty much was like, you know, what's going on? So I explained to him, like, you know, I think it's like I told you guys in my therapy video, it is very important for you to have a therapist, honey. Don't let nobody think you crazy. You're gonna go crazy if you don't go talk to somebody. I'm just saying, honestly. I mean, I'm talking to my therapist like, I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like something's wrong. And he pretty much explained to me that I'm suffering from a form of depression. I just didn't want to believe that. I mean, I still don't believe that. But it's just not because I don't feel like depression is a real thing, but because I just don't feel like that's what it is. But the more and more I'm reading about it, and the more and more that I'm taking it into consideration, that's pretty much, it's different forms. Like, when I think of depression, I think of someone in a certain way, which I shouldn't do, because clearly that's me, because there are times where I just don't want to get out of bed. And remember when I did that video and I was like, right now I'm so overwhelmed, I feel like I'm crying. I mean, I feel like I want to cry. That's because as soon as I cut the camera off, I just, well, I did my video, and then like in the middle of the video I couldn't finish, so I had to cry, fix my makeup, and then go back. And he was like, you know, a lot, we're seeing this a lot in people who do things on social media and stuff like that. It's becoming a lot. And for me, it's like, it's this thing where everything is changing. You get penalized on YouTube when you don't upload your entire fucking life every fucking day, and everybody don't get all of your notifications for what you've worked for. Then you're on Instagram, and then you start to lose followers because you just don't want to document every fucking thing that you do. But then, girl, it's a mess. It's a hot mess. My eyes is red, bloodshot, but pretty much that's where I'm at. I'm dealing with life, and I don't necessarily know, because I've been doing this for so long, how to change what I'm so used to doing, but it's not serving its best purpose for me. So the fact that I've been gone has been a mix of, I've been needing time to just literally figure my life out, but also I was broken. And unfortunately, when you're broken, companies, I've been going back and forth with companies back and forth. They don't care. They could care less. I could have been toothless in the video. They wouldn't have gave a damn as long as they were going to sell some bundles. You get what I'm saying? So to me, it's just been a whole bunch of just ugh. But I'm getting back, slowly but surely, I'm getting back to myself and what I do best here on YouTube, to talk to you guys. But just remember, we are people. We're not machines. We sometimes need, even though we're making some of you guys' lives great and you guys love to watch us, we are people and we go through things and shit gets real. And I don't know what it is about social media and depression, but it just goes hand in hand. Sometimes I just need fresh air and I need to talk to a real person, not people in these micro bits and all of this. So that's pretty much what's been going on with me. My life's a shit show right now and I'm just trying to get it back on, you know, so this is the first step. So yeah, it's nothing special. I didn't get married or have a baby or move into my mansion or get a Bugatti or a Bentley yet, but I'm working on it. But I gotta work on this first. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you wanna watch some more, it's some videos right there, girl. Love ya. Catch you in my next one. Peace.